everybody. Let's give them a warm welcome.
She doesn't talk, so
How you doing, Nala?
sorry. She's bored, as
Well,
you can see.
you're doing fine. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast. Very,
Thank you
very
for
happy
having me
to
again.
see you. Yeah. Last time it was a bit of a technical difficulties practice.
But
It was a sandbox.
still
It was
was.
not real. Last week I spoke with him, but I forgot to turn on his audio track while recording.
Still was fun.
But I also think it was a way for us to really feel what it's like to repeat things, just like how in waking life he wakes up in a dream and or you don't really know if he's in a dream. It kind of feels like the same thing is repeating itself, except I'm not wearing a wig this time. So at least one thing's different. So
Yeah, it's like a parallel. Okay, she sat down finally.
Okay.
It's like a parallel line to that
Exactly.
to the first podcast.
Yeah. So I found the script for Waking Life online because I didn't want to, I wanted to like get pull quotes from that specific scene that you wanted to talk about, the specific scene being the pinball moment. Yeah. And
Actually, I found it on the website. There was it was divided into chapters.
Yes.
And if each chapter, was it the same one?
Yes. And there is a website
Yeah, it
for
was
the
really good.
film. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, maybe it was the one that I got it from, but I didn't see if it was. I just saw that it was divided into chapters, and I needed something. I just used it, but I didn't know that it was for the website. But it has a sort of a cult
It
status.
does.
Not as big, but it's still quite big.
I
Yeah.
think it is pretty big because I was thinking about my ex-boyfriend around the same time that I was watching this because I went out with him in university. Like I met him in university, which is the same time I watched this film. And
yeah, you told me.
yeah, and he was really into Dream Theater, the band. And then I found on YouTube, I think the AI was listening to me and it promoted, like a new Dream Theater song that I had never heard before called Midnight Messiah. And in the song, it starts.
I haven't heard it.
I haven't heard. Well, you should check it out because the quote from this scene is the start of the song. And it was so weird because I had just watched the film and then I was watching this and I was like, what is happening right now? Is the AI
which one exactly?
Like trolling? Specific quote is at the end of the scene where he goes, Wiley Wiggins, the main character, he goes, yeah, but I mean, like, how did you finally get out of the dream? See, that's my problem. I'm like trapped. I keep thinking of waking up.
I didn't know.
That whole chunk.
Cool.
And so that was like, okay, well, so something about this whole like scene is very important in, I don't know, pop culture or in people's minds. It's a very
it's kind of the same with Matrix, I guess, and things like that.
Yeah.
But what is different here is that, in a way, the dream itself is not it's not criticized. Like it's not a bad place to be. I mean, depends on what you consider. We'll get to that. I don't want to interrupt you, so go ahead and we'll get there.
Okay. Well, feel free to jump in whenever. I did want to do a quick setup of the scene because I don't know if everyone's seen this movie before, but it is near the end of the film when Wiley Wiggins, the main character, he talks to the guy playing the pinball. He's actually the pinball guy is the director. I didn't know that. Richard Linklater. That's the.
And he's in the beginning as well when he's on the truck or behind in the behind of the car. I don't remember. It was a truck or a car.
He's
in the very beginning when there are three of them is on the
he's
in the
in
truck
the
or
boat.
the car. He's one of them.
Yeah.
In the boat, yeah, in the behind, yeah.
And so that's
also
right.
cool because that's what happens in dreams. Like first you see someone and it goes in completely different direction. Then someone appears to you in completely different, as a completely different person. Like this guy was just a slacker in the beginning, and then he comes back with this wise man stuff. He talks about all these things at the pinball table. It's really funny.
Yeah, he's been through his own experience, which is trippy
funny.
because it is funny. It is funny. So yeah, it is kind of like how in dreams, you don't really have control over what happens, right? But then sometimes people do reappear. Has that ever happened to you though? Have you ever had a dream where someone returned in one dream
Yeah,
and you the
I'm
other?
sure. It's not like I can remember something specific, but it's usually like that. It starts with something, then it can go in completely different direction, but then that person can jump up out of nowhere and play a completely different role. That's why it's kind of realistic. I realized that on rewatching because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't remember a lot of things.
I've
Then I
had a dream
realized,
like
then
that.
wow,
Yeah. I think
yeah,
I
it's
think
common.
it wasn't I wasn't sure if it was the same person, but you know when you're in a dream and you feel like the person's the same person, like they may look different, but they have the same feeling when you're talking to them. So you're like, okay, wait, this is that person I was with a moment ago.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah. So it's like that. Feels like that. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, it's very, very, very similar. Yeah,
Yeah. It's so
it's
interesting that
funny.
dreams have that. It's I mean, I sometimes I wonder if it's like an actual person I'm talking to, like somewhere, because they
Uh,
reappear and it's so vivid, it's so real. Um,
Yeah, it depends on what
yeah,
you mean by real person. So
like a
that
real
that all
person
boils down.
who's also sleeping, or yeah, they're sleeping at the same time.
What is real is it's all up to discussion. So
Right.
who knows?
Who
I mean,
knows?
it's hard.
So
Yeah,
he's playing pinball, and this is when he has a conversation with Wiley Wiggins, the main character. And I think it's interesting that Linklater decided to play the character because that tells me something, right? It tells me that he wanted to
exactly.
do
Yeah,
this scene, like it was an important scene for him as the
yeah, and that
director.
happens right before the ending. So
Right. He's at the end. He's in the beginning. He's in the end. And he also probably wanted to act it out a certain way, to have a certain feeling to it. The way he said, the way he talks, which is, I love the way he
just
talks.
wake up.
It's very casual. Yeah. And, but maybe also he relates to what the guy is saying. Like he's gone through this experience so many times himself. So he
I'm
needed,
sure it's kind of personal for him.
yes.
I will need to look at some interviews, but I'm just sure it was some kind of very influential point for him.
Right. And I do want to also do a little bit, but at the same time, I don't. I kind of want to just talk about it without any of that preconceived notion because I think that it allows us to not have any organized, thought around it that's already been said. It's just how we have interpreted it based on our own experiences, so that it just shows the collective relatability to it, how it relates to people in different ways or associations. So there's a concept there's a lot of concepts that show up in this one scene. The scene is called Trapped in a Dream, and it's called False Awakening. That's the concept, false awakening. And in the quote, he goes, I just woke up. This is Linklater. I just woke up because I was dreaming. And later than that, I found out that I was still dreaming that I'd woken up. I'm still in it now. I can't get out of it. It's been going on forever. I keep waking up, but I just keep waking up into another dream. And I'm starting to get creeped out too. Like I'm talking to dead people, and this woman on TV is telling me about how death is this dream time that exists outside of life. I mean, I'm starting to think that I'm dead. So like
Yeah.
the concept of false awakening in this part, the way it's
Have you had such
defined.
dreams?
Yeah, it was so strange because today I took a midday nap. And those are the times when I have the most false
Hmm.
awakening type of dreams where I'm unable to distinguish between being awake and the dream. Like, as it
Yeah.
like blurs. There's like a threshold between whatever that place is and like the whole dream theater, I guess you could, like the whole experience of this like projection of like what's happening on it. I don't know where that is. Dreamtime, apparently. And it feels like the person that I'm talking to in the dream is still with me. It's like I'm still there, and I'm like having that experience in it, and it
Yeah.
leads into this one. So there's no
What about the dreams, like
break.
the dreams inside of dreams, that kind of also, like when you wake up and you're still in the dream, not your mind is connected, but when you're still dreaming, but inside the dream. Have you had that?
I have, but I
Yeah,
haven't had
it's
that
quite common.
I haven't had it frequently though. It's very rare.
Yeah,
What about
I
you?
mean it happens. It's rare in one's life, but it's not rare in the sense that some most people experience that one way or the other. But I did have not recently, but some years ago, I think I had like 3 4 layered dreams. I would wake
Three,
up.
four? Oh my
Yeah, it's
gosh.
kind of like Inception kind. When I would
What?
wake up and I was at my grandmother's house, and then I would wake up, I was somewhere else, and then back to grandmother's house. It's what every time I would wake up and say, okay, this is the this is the final one. I'm waking. I'm awake now, and then something else happens, and I'm awake, but there's still something that feels off, and you're like, okay, is it still not it?
Right.
Uh, it just kept going, maybe even 4 or 5 times. So it's really
Wow. Why are
funny in that
grandmas?
sense.
I wonder.
I was a kid. As a kid, we were like we had this years post-war years with no electricity, nothing. So we would just gather at some relative's house or family house who had more options, like with energy, like accumulators and things like that. Wherever it was, there was heating, something
Hmm.
that we want,
Somewhere that
go
was a little bit
freeze.
more comfortable.
Yeah, that's safe, I would say, because
Safe.
at
Yeah.
home it was too cold to be safe.
Right.
So I spent like my early years of school, like maybe for 1 year, 2 year at their house,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of memories, mostly good ones. I mean, for older people, they're probably terrible memories of they had to chop wood to get the
Fire going.
heaters going and things
Yeah.
like, yeah. It was a nightmare for them, and to have the kids around and everything is. But for the kids, it was kind of blissful. We would just wait for the light for the electricity for 1 hour to go play some. My uncle had a PC like IBM, very old with DOS, where I played my first games, and it was
Nice.
just a miracle when we had just for 1 hour we had electricity. I would just run there, put some blankets on me not to freeze there, and would
Hmm.
just go play some RPGs and things. I had a really great memory. So maybe it's just my mind connecting to because these dreams were kind of peaceful. So maybe it was just leading me to this state of peace, and that's
Mm.
why I would go back there. I have no idea. Maybe it's just connected.
I think
But I
so.
remember that it was their house. Most of the time, is there was their apartment.
You reminded me of the
So yeah,
film
that was.
Mirror with that
I
memory.
was I was gonna. You mean like Tarkovsky's Mirror, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking about today. I was gonna say something about Mirror, and now you say it. So
Great.
that's that's the
There's your
connection. Yeah.
invitation. Hey, if you have anything to say about that, why that you wanted to bring it up? Why did you want to bring it up? Mirror.
The Mirror.
Yeah.
I have to remember. Oh yeah, I will get to that. It's I think we were gonna discuss time sooner or later,
Oh, we
in
should
that
talk
scene,
about
and
that on another on a
then I
separate.
will I will get there because it's about time basically, not the movie about time, but
I'm gonna bring you back to talk about that specific movie because
yeah, I
that's one of my
remember.
favorites. Yeah, and I had a moment, an experience around that, but we'll talk about that for another episode. Thank you. By the way, you're my Armenian correspondent. That's how I will describe you going forward.
I'm sure I have zero competition.
Yeah, no, there's none for now.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
for
No.
now it works.
There's no competitors. It's just you, uh, and we can keep it that way. It's already been capped. The role has been filled. So
That works for me.
yeah, there was something. Oh, I was gonna ask you, what was your first video game that you played?
It's uh, it's like a Pac-Man thing, but it was CD Man. It's like a variation of Pac-Man
But you eat
where you had
CDs?
this. No, you eat. It's kind of the same. I don't remember why it was called CD Man, but
Oh,
there were, instead of this ghosts, there were sharks and then different levels and stuff.
okay.
I remember the first time I got my uncle was got the first game he got on the PC and wanted to show us, and it was so mysterious. Like I remember it was almost like
Spooky?
a sacrament or something, because
Oh, it felt
there
like it
was
was like a
such
ghost.
mystery in the air. I
Yeah.
didn't know what the hell it was. I never played anything. I mean, I played some
Spooky.
stupid
Yeah.
game, and then I saw then there was the intro with this. I will send it to you later.
You
Like
should,
the
because I was
intro
gonna
is,
say I want to see the
yeah,
visual.
it's this,
Yeah.
yeah, it's this blob or whatever, this Pac-Man,
Right.
and he says he turns away to the camera and smiles, and that movement alone on the screen, that was so exciting for me. It was the first thing I saw, and it was I couldn't I was hooked from that moment, and I was a
You're like, I
video
need to go
game
back. I need to play more.
fanatic. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
I couldn't take my brain off it. It was especially during those years when we had nothing, and it was like Armenia is always like 10 years or 15 years behind the other, like, more Western world. So
Mm.
it was like a
The
window
United States specifically, because that's where all
yeah,
those
it
video
was
games
really,
in Tokyo, Japan, where all those video games were
yeah,
coming out. Yeah.
it was very
Hmm.
life-changing in a way.
Absolutely. It really is. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's like being in a daydream when you play video games. You play video games now, so I've been watching you play, and it is kind of like being in a daydream with you, watching you go through a dream as you're,
Yeah, it's fun.
going
It's
through.
like two different people, like, in the same experience, and it's not something that is physically going on, but
I'm just like an
still
observer.
there.
Like I'm just hanging around, watching. You can
Yeah.
kind of sense that someone's watching probably while you're playing. You're like, it's
Some people
interesting
don't like it, but I really like when
when people
people
watch.
watch
Yeah,
when I play, or
people
or they join play with me cooperational. Like, I
yeah,
really like that
co-op. Yeah,
social moment, but not the multiplayer per se, because it's just a lot of
why?
strangers together. I
Oh,
mean, I played those games, but
like
it can be
massive
toxic. It can be
multiplayer.
fine. Yeah, not
Absolutely.
those.
Random team members that just get thrown together.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes they don't
it's like
work
rolling the
together as a
dice every
group.
time.
Absolutely. It's a gamble. Yeah, you never know who you're going to get. Sometimes it's great and you like meet new people. Sometimes it can be like a child that's playing on the other end, which is totally cool. Actually, it's like, yeah, great. We can
Yeah, but the end, you
be
always
a
come back to this
mentor.
thought that, like, I like to pick who I want to play with. I don't want this. I'm tired of this random matchmaking and things like that. So you kind of pick
It
your
is
people
pretty
to play with.
exhausting. It is. It is. It's like I don't have
Yeah.
the social batteries to deal with that sometimes, especially after work. It's like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just this is better, like, for a
Yeah,
chill experience.
exactly. Okay, so bringing it back, in this scene, it also makes a case for all of reality being one story, and how the pinball guy, Linklater, he says, behind the phenomenal difference between our existences, there is one story, and that's the story of moving from the no to the yes. All of life is like, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you. Then ultimately, it's yes, I give in. Yes, I accept. Yes, I embrace. I mean, that's the journey. I mean, everyone gets to the yes in the end, right? Do you agree with that?
Mm, you mean the last part? You mean before that? I do agree, but if everyone gets to it, I'd hope so. I can't say, like, I don't know what everyone means. Like, every person in life, I wouldn't say so, but if we continue on, then maybe eventually, in a way, we can go back to that, but it's really beyond my scope. I will have
At this
to
time, right?
I will
At
have to
this
go
present
there
time.
to see that,
Yeah. Maybe in the
in
future
this life,
lifetimes,
I wouldn't agree. Yeah, in this life I wouldn't agree, because a lot of people don't cross that barrier.
you
They
don't think that
just
we're
go
there
like that.
yet? Not even close? If there was like
No,
a
they probably,
progress bar, how far would it be out of 100%? Where are we?
sooner, like, even at the very beginning of their lives, everyone has been there. It's just we kind of lose it.
Mm-hmm.
And in that sense, everyone has been there. But do they come back to that? I can't say that they do during this life. Some people do, some people don't.
Yeah.
As for what's next, I can't vouch for that. But In this life, I don't. I wouldn't say, but I'm not sure that in the movie it's meant in this life either. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just more global thing that we all go to the. Like, have you heard the U2 song? The Still haven't found what I'm looking for.
No, I haven't. What's it like? The
That
chorus?
there's lyrics that some sort of lyrics like it says. I believe in the kingdom come where all the colors will bleed into one.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, I do believe there's everything that gets united in the end in one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if you throw away all the lies or the all the illusions of our thoughts and minds and everything, what's left behind that is kind of what unifies us. Everyone will speak the same language. Everyone will feel the same, not feel the same, but it will be like this unity. For now, like we have this unity. We're very separate from each other.
Mm-hmm.
I used to think when I was doing some mental practices,
Mm-hmm.
even like I brought back that feeling, like when you're when you're a kid and you're traveling somewhere by bus on a bus.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, you don't feel like, okay, this is me and this is other people and things like that. You kind of feel like it's just one entity.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, it's like it's like you're going together with them. It's like you're united with everyone. It's just one bus, and you're in that's the different is kind of spiritual feeling that you're connected with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So that dies off when you grow up slowly, because you kind of put barriers between you and other people and things like that. So in that
Mm-hmm.
sense, when those barriers go crash, and they will crash sooner or later,
Mm-hmm.
then you kind of go back to that state where you're united with everyone else.
That's where
And
the
in
yes
that sense,
is kind of like the
yeah, I
embracing.
think that, yeah,
Yeah.
when there is nothing to, when there's nothing to cling to anymore,
Mm-hmm.
nothing to distract from, like it's just basic, the reality, the truth, and everything, it's just that left. Then there's no other way, but because you can't lie anymore, you can't hide anymore. It's
Mm-hmm.
just you either embrace it or you don't. In that sense, it's just the same as in this conversation. It's either you say yes, or
Mm-hmm.
if you say no, it's basically you're dooming
Imagine
yourself.
that. Imagine if I were to say no after every single sentence you just said. That would be a completely different conversation, right? It would be one where you would be like, like it's stuck. And you'd be like, okay, well, we'll talk about
That
something
that's a
else,
part
right?
that's part of the unity. That's part of the unity.
Right. Well, right, because you want it to work and for it to be harmonized. You want to harmonize with me. You want to move in the same direction. But then I would continue to say no, no, no,
Yeah,
no,
but
no.
even like that, like if we took all this relativity things, some
Yeah.
people would say, some philosophers would say that doesn't matter. It's
If I
yes
say
for you, it's
no or
no
yes,
for.
that's such a good point. And I once was in
Yeah.
sorry to cut in because I got really
No,
excited. I
good.
just remembered this one time I was in a car and it was a taxi driver. And the taxi driver, he said to me, he didn't agree with what I was saying, but he said yes. And then he continued to say the opposite of what I was saying. So it was such a mind confusion for me because he was like, yes. I don't
I
like
feel
that at
I
all.
feel those things are
It's
criminal.
like,
Like this
excuse
agree
me. Yeah.
that's criminal.
Well,
It's like playing with your mind.
yes,
Like
it is.
be honest with me. Like, if you don't like it, say no.
He was being
Why are you
honest,
torturing me?
but he used yes in like the wrong, like not wrong way, but it was in the way that yes, yes, that was where it was.
Was probably taught to say yes to people, no matter what.
Yeah, just to be
Well,
keep things harmonized, but disagree with you. Yeah.
yeah. Well, what's the point, right?
I was laughing in my head because I was like, I don't even know how to
Imagine if it was
continue
the
this
opposite.
conversation.
Like he would say no and repeat the same thing that you said. That would be another mind breaker.
I would have rather him had said that. I think that I would have accepted it. I would have been very, oh, cool, like, tell me more about your perspective. But this was just like, Like I was like jarred, like, wait, hold on, what are you
what
saying
happens?
exactly? Are you agreeing with me or not? I was like, no, he's not agreeing with me. He's actually disagreeing with me. Okay. So it's like I had to jump that and then I was like, okay, now we're on the same page.
What happens more often is the people saying the same thing, but
Yeah.
they end up with saying, "I agree to let's agree to disagree."
Disagree. My family does that a
But they're
lot.
saying the same thing.
My parents would do that a lot, and I remember I would be the mediator who'd be like, "What are you both saying? You're saying the same thing." Like I would just say,
That's the
like,
worst.
ah.
That's the worst place for the child to be.
Yeah, because it was like, okay, so the dynamic is to disagree. Like that's the only way that this relationship is fine, actually, is the disagreement. And I had to realize that some people's relationships are best in disagreement, as crazy as that sounds. Some people, their relationship is based on it, and it works for them. They like that. I didn't know that. You know,
That's interesting.
it did
Maybe at
take a
some
while.
point, yeah, maybe it works at some point.
Yeah.
Unless they will get fed up after that.
No, it's like it's like the moment that they start agreeing, there's nothing. It was so that's actually kind of related to this. It is related, not kind of. It is related because when you are yes, you're surrendering, you accept it, you embrace it, and then it's over. Like
Yeah,
there's
but I
no,
mean,
there's nothing to say.
it's an end to something and a start to something else. So there's nothing that is over and just like.
And the next thing is like, do we agree on the next thing?
cut.
And it's like, yes, okay, well, then that's over. And so imagine a whole world where everyone agrees with everything. Wouldn't everything just be done? We'd be done.
Yeah, but well, in this case, it's not about everything. It's about that there's a specific thing that it says from no to yes. It's like the acceptance of kind of this divine nature. That's what he says yes to in the he comes with the Book of Acts and things like that. It's just saying yes to the. If you have the script, right? What does it say there?
Oh, the Book of Acts. Do you want me to read it? I can
No,
read it out.
in the end, no, before the yes part, what is he saying yes to precisely?
Right on. Okay, so he goes, I'm going to read it to you. It's about Lady Gregory, who was Yeats' patron. He goes, this, Irish person, and though I've never seen her image, I was just sure that this was the face of Lady Gregory. So we're walking along, and Lady Gregory turns to me and says, let me explain to you the nature of the universe. Now, Philip K. Dick is right about time, but he's wrong about it being 50 AD. Actually, there's only one instant, and that's right now, and it's eternity. And it's an instant in which God is posing a question, and that question is basically, do you want to, be one with eternity? Do you want to be in heaven? And we're all saying, no, thank you, not just yet. And so time is actually just this constant saying no to God's invitation. I mean, that's what time is. I mean, it's no more 50 AD. Yeah. It's just this one instant. And we're always in it. And so if everyone were to say yes, would this be all done? Would we just enter like whatever state that is, which we will never know? Because if we are here, then we're clinging. It's like I'm here because I'm saying no all the time. It's like the only way for me to stay here is for me to disagree.
Yeah, what do you mean here? Like where here?
Physically
on
here is me disagreeing with things. That's what I'm saying. In my case, in my interpretation of this, obviously, because I was thinking along the lines of this, and I was like, oh,
no,
I guess that's how it is.
Physically, I don't think it's like physical.
You don't think so?
Journey. I mean, when it says the yes, it doesn't mean that
it's spiritual.
You transport somewhere. Yeah, so it's kind of
not just physical. Sorry,
inside of you. Yeah, I'm sure you felt that when that's a good example, because there are times when you are not saying no. Like whenever you're in the moment, whenever you're in harmony with yourself, you're basically saying yes. You don't. But then something comes back and says no. That we have to do this.
It's like a conflict, right? You're like hitting an obstacle.
Yeah. So if it was a constant yes, then you would be in that state
Just
That's
flying
what kind
high.
of monks do when they isolate. They try to keep that state stable, so then they can build
Where
on
are
that.
they though when they're in that state? Where do you think they are?
You can call it many
You
ways. In
throw
the
in
now,
anything. Yeah.
in the now, in that one moment that is in the movie, or Kingdom of Heaven can be another alternative, because it is in the scripture. It
Everything and
says it's like
nothing at the same time.
yeah,
There you
it's
go.
like peace and joy in the spirit. So that's basically the same thing as in the now, and just different interpretation of the same thing. But it's a state of your mind, which is, or your soul, or whatever. So in that sense, it's that's we have to kind of, the challenging part is the time, because I always think about it like I go with cheap definitions, like I'm like, okay, no, time doesn't exist, but at the same time, I'm like defining time as just that it doesn't exist, but it's just changes happening all
Yeah.
the time, and you think that it is time, but it's just different things changing, and
Hmm.
you think that it's something passes, but also there is this cause and effect thing that you can't ignore. So it's also not like that, but there is, I believe there is at this different point of consciousness, there is kind of this bird eye view where you know, when there is the future and past, everything is just this comes to just one, and you can kind of tap into it. It's not something you can rationally understand, but you can tap into that feeling when you do either meditation or whatever you do, when you feel like there, if you watch your life, like you see, it's either the time is you unwind time,
Yeah.
you can feel this like your thoughts go linear time. What you think about the past, you think of what you're gonna do tomorrow. That's time. Time is unwinded. And when you lose the sense of time, when you're basically focusing on anything single, like if you're mindful on something,
Hmm.
even if it's thinking about future, but mindful thinking, it's still in the now. So in that sense, then the time disappears. You don't have the feeling of time, correct?
Hmm.
And as a kid, you don't have that feeling as well. Like it's until certain age, you
Hmm.
just you just
Absolutely.
exist. You don't have this time.
This
And in
concept
that
of it.
sense, that
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah. Hmm.
that's why some either agnostics or others just say that time is the enemy. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be so radical, but I'm also like, I don't take time seriously, because this all this. I wanted to ask you, for example, that connecting to the dreams, like when you dream,
Hmm.
uh, what do you feel like when, mm, for example, in the dream, that time also isn't, at least it's not
What is
like
time in dream
here.
state?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you feel time the same way as here? I don't think you do.
So no, because I'm not there's no deadline, right? So there's no container of time. Because there's no container of time, I'm in the flow of an energy, and that energy is moving, right? There's no beginning or end. I'm already in it, something, right? Um, and it continuously transforms to this next scene, next scene, next scene, right? It's not, there's no
Yeah,
end, right?
exactly.
So, and it could continue
That's the
forever
closest. Yeah.
until you wake up. And then you look at the time when you wake up and you go, oh, I got to get up because I have an interview at 10 a.m. I have to take a shower.
That's a great
And then,
paradox,
and it's like
in
you
the sense
already
that
set up like a
in this
whole
case,
line of like time sets, like markers. And it's like before that, you were just in a dream where you didn't have to worry about any of that. Like you could be there
yeah,
forever, and it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter how long. It doesn't matter how long I take to do this one action in my dream, because no one's standing there
that's
like,
brilliant.
you have to finish this in 10 minutes. It's like no. I guess like they have like exams.
That's
Sometimes people
brilliant.
say they have an exam dream. And it's like when you're in an exam, but even in the exam, it's not about like getting it done. It's about not failing the exam. So it's different. The
Still
con
not in the linear time
Yeah,
realm.
there's
So
no
still,
time. You finish it whenever you finish it in the dream. No one's there with a clock like, 45 minutes left. No, it's like, I need to make sure I get every one of these answers completed correctly, right?
That's a
That's how.
brilliant example because this is funny because in this case, like waking up in the spiritual sense is not waking up from that dream of where there is no time, but from this dream where we have this all structures and waking up into the dream where there is no time. That's the paradox. And if you wake up, you realize that you don't realize that, oh wait, I need to go here or there. You realize that actually that time is not like you thought about it,
Mm-hmm.
not the way it was. Just the same as in Matrix, that everyone is doing something, everyone is doing work. But when Neo wakes up, it's like this. Even this world is like it stops. You can see that like you don't feel the sense of time after that in the movie. He just goes through one simulation, then he goes to the soothsayer. He goes to this guy.
So
He just
true.
does things. He just does things
Does
like
things.
to liberate.
I like
But
that.
that you can't feel where time goes. Like you
I
don't feel it
like that.
because he wakes up to this state where the world is. He sees the world as one. Like he decodes the world, starts seeing the codes and stuff.
That's
And
kind of where
there
they're
are times
blurring.
time falls off.
You know,
Yeah.
That's where the blur I can set in for a person. The blurring between dream and reality, because when you stop caring about time, and for example, do you wear a watch?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I don't, but when I am, I have.
I even have a clock here.
You have one in your heart?
No, here.
Oh. Okay, no, you're sure. I can see it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so interesting. Did you do that on purpose?
Yeah. No, not really. It was just
Whoa.
the first thing I mean, I realized that, but it was like it happened like this.
What time does it say on there? Do you know?
Like it's
It says 7,
should
8,
be
9, 9,
two
10, 11, 10, 10
two
p.m.
10
Or is it the
10
other way
like
too?
9:50 I think.
9:50. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
it's not 9:50. You know what
Yeah,
time it is?
that would be too weird.
If you flip the 6 upside down, it's 9. That'd be 9:57. 9:57.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
That would be too much.
that would be.
Yeah, so sorry, go ahead.
I
What
tried.
about
I tried.
what?
Okay, but yeah, I was gonna say the the blurring of reality. Yeah, it's really well done in there. That's what I mean by when you stop having a sense of. So I don't wear a watch, and now I don't because I used to, but when I did, I had this constant pressure, and I was constantly on a set marker time, linear progression way of living. It was a way of living.
If I had that, I would take it off surely. I just don't focus on it that much. But if that was bothering
My whole
you,
life
then
changed after I took off a watch. I know that sounds really dramatic, but it was a dramatic change
it's
because
possible.
it started to affect the way that I navigated my life. Like I didn't look at the time as much. I do for my phone. Obviously, I look at my phone to see if I'm okay. But I have this intuitive time. I said it weird. Intuitive time where I feel like it's 12 p.m. Oh, I feel like it's 6 p.m. Like I know what time it is based on
The inner clock.
the inner clock. Yeah.
Mine would be so bad after my sleep schedule. Like all my circadian rhythms are messed up. So my inner clock would probably be the opposite of the universe. It's so broken. It's very sad, but I need to change the schedule, so I will think about it.
You are like every Aquarius I know goes to sleep at like 5 a.m. But I could be wrong.
Really?
Yeah. Like they stay up
Well,
really late.
my dad is one, and he sleeps at 10 p.m. Like
Oh, but does he live alone?
he lives with us. No, I mean, unless you have some reasons to move out, or you marry, or you move out, it's this kind of structures
It's
here.
the
You
same for
kind of live
me.
with a family.
It's the same. And Americans generally, no. But my family, yeah. That's how it is. And it's a very difficult because the rest of society will be like, huh? What's going on? Is everything okay?
Not here. No one cares.
Thank
No
you.
one cares about that here. You
Thank
can
you.
move here.
It's very economical. It's about
Yeah,
conservation.
it has its pros, surely.
Yeah. But but I understand why someone would move out. I'm not saying that everyone should stay home, but
That's why I wanted to move out as well.
okay. Well, then it's not an Aquarius thing. I thought it was. I guess not. It's because of the same reason, though. It's like every person I've talked to that's an Aquarius that has said the same thing. They all like to be alone and have like a empty headspace or something. It's like they finally feel like they can think. Everything is clear. They can have creative downloads and write,
Yeah, I'm
focused
really
hours.
sensitive to the situations where I'm like I'm not myself. I'm going out of myself, and I have to
Mm-hmm.
do these things. Even like the simple things like falling in love with someone is just sometimes it's terrible for me because I know that my mind will be thinking about this person, and it's not like even if it's mutual, it's still troubling for me because I need some. Uh, and it may be if with several years when you're already living together and you're kind of accustomed to each other, it goes down. But that those first moments is always like a mind virus, and I feel exhausted because of that, and it troubles me. Not that I'm shying away from it, but I know that it's gonna be tough on me
Yeah,
every time.
it is. It really is. It can really consume all of your mind space. And when that happens, it can destroy the structure of your life, like the routines, and you start to forget how to
You're really
take care of
lucky if the
yourself.
other person is if the other person is into the same mindset, same thing, same direction as you, then maybe you can to like use that time together to move in the direction you want to move. But
That's right.
that doesn't happen. At least in my case, it doesn't happen very often. So it just becomes something that I have to choose between one and the other, and it just gets messy.
I totally agree. Yeah, that's the way to do it. And that's a very positive way to see it because most people would hear what you just said and be like, I don't really want to be in a relationship then. Like, it's too much of a trouble if I have to think about someone else.
Oh, yeah.
But like you said, if you're compatible in other ways, then, well, that's good. Otherwise, it'll be hard.
If
It's
you
just
are,
going to be
then
hard.
I will write you down in the Guinness Book of Records or something. It's
Yeah,
really
it is
hard to find
really hard.
pairs that are compatible.
Yeah, especially now.
Yeah.
I think everyone's
Let's not
very
discourage people.
like, unless you're like dating someone who you grew up with and had very similar cultures, then maybe then it will be the same. Very, very rare where you will meet someone who
It
is
always
so
depends on
similar.
your type and what you like. And it depends
Right. Absolutely.
what your interests are. So
Yeah.
it's ever.
Yeah. Well, that's why I always say to people is like, just be open to learning new things, and give it a shot and see how you feel about it. But don't lose yourself in the process of it, right? Like, don't just
That's well.
completely
First you have to
take on.
have had found yourself in the first place, not to lose
Yes.
yourself. If it's not there, then it's just basically substituting one thing you lose yourself in with something else that you lose yourself
Yeah.
in. It's funny but tragic.
It's so tragic.
People are funny. It's cool though.
How many times has that happened? I mean, it's why I'm single. I was like, okay,
And
this is it.
there's hope for us one day, maybe. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, there's hope for us. There really is because the more that I'm
If you're
around.
watching, there is hope for you.
What was that?
Whoever is watching.
Whoever's watched, there's
I'm
hope for
saying
you. There's
whoever's
hope for
watching
you.
you, there is hope for you.
Yes. Yes. Keep going. But yeah, don't lose yourselves out there. Keep going. Do you do
Should we go
Tinder
back to time?
and like all of this
Oh
online stuff?
no.
No. Have you?
First and foremost, it's not working in Armenia. It's real terrible. It's just
What do you mean
basically,
it's terrible?
it's like
What's it like?
50-year-old sex workers trying to get clients. So you don't want that, trust me.
Oh. So it's very annoying because you're like, I want a relationship. And this person's like, So I need $50.
Yeah, they're like, I'm not sure if you want a relationship to begin with in that sense, but it's just,
Dang.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like not that there are people who use it, but it's not, at least not the type of relationship I'm looking for. It won't work here. Maybe in other countries you can meet people who are into
I don't
like
know,
just
actually. I'm starting to think that maybe
normal
that's the
stuff, but
same
here
here. It's just maybe not 50-year-olds, but like 30-year-olds.
pretty it's a common thing, but maybe like here it's more wild in that sense. But otherwise, it's just the dating apps can work, but not everywhere, not often, let's say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I found a relationship through a dating app, and that was a very long relationship, but that was my last one I was in. And I thought, wow, Tinder really works, But
Well, maybe it does. I mean, like, it's not like people you meet.
it was one
It's
it was
not
one
like
relationship. The rest of them were no, 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 no. It was like this isn't. But I did meet one person who I'm friends with now.
so. The longest one was the one from Tinder.
Yeah, the longest I've ever been was through Tinder, and it was
See,
like, how did this happen? It was like a
so it
lottery.
works better, at least in your case, it worked better than others.
I don't know how it works. I still think back on it and I'm like, how did that work? Because I'm a different person now. Like I've come around to a point where I'm like, oh wait, I need to regain my knowledge of who I am because I don't think I was being myself during the whole time. I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's good.
was, but I wasn't the entire time. Like there was a lot of not being myself. So to the point where I didn't have like any of my own stuff. Like I was like imagine me if I were to just move into a house and I'd be like, oh, this is my house now, but it's like I don't have like none of my stuff's there. It was like I just kind of moved into someone else's place and then I
Yeah,
just
that was what I was
I forgot who I was.
describing when I said when I fall in love, this happens. Like
Yeah.
it's like I'm starting seeing everything through this person mindset, and
Yeah.
not the mindset, but it's just like there's in the background that there's always this. It's like this person lives with you in your head, so
They live with
it's
you in the
normal, but
yeah.
it's also it can be problematic. I don't know. Maybe if you, as I said, maybe if you have many years that kind of switches to something else, that it goes down, but uh, in 1 year it's still pretty much there, I think.
Yeah.
At least it was for me.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
It's a choice and it's not easy and I don't know where I'm going to go with that, but I was going to be like all the power to the people who, have managed to make it work and find balance in it and not lose themselves in the process. Right
I'd like to
on.
find them and tell them to teach me.
Yeah, where's the playbook for this? I need to know what you did and how you did it. Step 1, step 2. I need to know because I think it was like within the first moments, I was already like, I don't care at all who I am. Let me just be in your life and your family, and I don't have a family.
No, yeah.
Like I was just like,
Yeah,
just
that's
take me in, yeah, absorb me into your cult, and I was happily doing it. Different. It
well,
was fun. I would
an
never don't
actually
regret it.
a person
Yeah.
more in touch with the situation would probably help you to gain some individuality in that, and to just
It allowed
not
me
just
to gain more
keep. Oh,
individuality. Yeah, in the group.
that's good then. Yeah,
Yeah, because it's like when you're in your own family, it's like you don't realize you're in a cult. Like your everyone. I'm not gonna say like cult as in like a nefarious religious thing, but in a very general sense, like
sometimes
a culture.
sometimes it's very similar
Yeah,
when you have to work and pay some part to to your parents, and then do this, then that is like just
everyone's wearing like the same clothes, and like the same colors too, and they all have like the same
it can be
haircuts at the same age.
every structure is prone to that totalitarian bullshit.
Yeah, yeah,
The
the
problem comes when
uniform.
you think that when you blame the structure and not the regime, like if you have this bad case of the family, you can just go against all kinds of families and just go that it's a totalitarian structure. It's oppressive. It's
All
terrible. But
families, yes. And
yeah,
you're just
all
going
it's
into
a
another system.
generalization.
You're just go from one to another, and then in that one you're
and
like, oh,
and
I don't
those
know if I want
and
that. Yeah.
the people in that other system are the same people that also ran away from your condition, and
Yes.
that's not a good place to be, like, because they also
What?
ran away from it.
We
So you can't
can.
help you. They can't help you. You can just relate to each other, but you can't rise above that.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yes. I went through that. Like, oh, yeah. Wow. How did...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
what's
always how
happening
it
all the
happens with
time.
cults. That's the cult
That's
thing.
the cults. Yeah, the cult system.
You
How it
kind
works.
of run away from cult and you fall. It's like this horror movies when you're running from a monster and you get into this house with you shut the door and then there's another monster there. It's just this kind of thing until you kind of spread some light to see what's going
And then you
on.
look in the mirror and you're a
Yeah,
monster.
yeah.
Okay, well, I think that we've done enough with the time because we were going to talk about time in more detail at another time.
Yeah.
Let's set a time for that and then set the clock, set the
We
alarm.
will touch mirror maybe then, because it's what's connected with time and the perception of it.
Right.
And I think you already know what I mean when I say this. But because you like mirror, so you probably know what it's about.
I need to rewatch
We
it.
will
It's about
talk
time.
more about it.
I
Yeah,
will go into
you
depth
can
about
rewatch it
that.
before the next one.
Yeah, we will. And there's a lot of stories around that, so I can't wait. It's going to be great. Look forward to
Yeah,
that
because
one.
I think it's really connected. This movie is really connected with time,
Yeah,
and the themes are not just dreaming, but also the time and things like that.
absolutely.
And that's a key. Like even in Boyhood, have you seen Boyhood?
No, I haven't, but I know about it and I should watch it.
Okay,
Yes.
I won't spoil it, but it's after all these things, even like after this centuries, decades that it was filming them. That would be funny, yeah. From the Middle Ages to now, Boyhood is being filmed. That must be cool. It's
Oh
funny.
my god. Oh.
Yeah. So in the end, he brings all these years of filming. He brings again to this point of the now in the end. So
Hmm.
that's what makes it good for me, because people say, well, who cares? Like it's not a big thing that it's just filmed across 30 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, fair. It's not something that makes a movie great, but the 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 concept of it, how he brings that all these years, actual years, not just movie years, but actual years to that point again, to that now. That's one point where time goes. After all these years, time disappears again. That's really cool.
Whoa. Wow. Yeah.
Mm. So
The
we can talk
convergence of
about that
all
as
of it
well.
into, oh my gosh.
So that's why I was saying that this is another Linklater theme. So it's not different from, even after years later, Boyhood had the same core as Waking Life in
Yeah.
the end.
I'm gonna rewatch. I'm gonna watch Boyhood, and we'll watch Mirror. Okay. So, but I wanted to bring this back to this is the last part of, and it's actually the last part of this scene. So
You
this works
promise.
great.
Oh,
Hold on.
the theme, yeah.
Okay. So hold on. Let me just regain myself. Okay. Yeah.
Are you
So
sure the recording is working?
yes. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Please God. Okay. I know it is. And if you make me think, maybe it'll go backwards. Maybe it will just disappear.
No, I have faith in that. I
Okay.
mean,
So
I don't
then
know.
there's
We'll
the
see,
last
I
part,
guess.
and this is the part that you quote a lot, and it's the quote, "Just wake up." And it's from the part where Wiley Wiggins, the main character, he says, "Yeah, but I mean, like, how did you?" This is like the dream theater part. How did you finally get out of the dream? See, I kind of look like Wiley Wiggins right now too. With my hair and everything. So I want to do this part. Okay. See,
Would be cool to have you in the rotoscope effect.
I know.
I wonder if it's
Ooh.
possible. Like,
I
could you
will.
try that?
I will. I'm gonna try doing that in post. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, like, how did
Wow,
you? How did you?
that would be so exciting.
You're like, oh,
honestly.
you're like, you just saw it in your head, right?
Wow.
You're like, oh my God, it's actually going to happen.
Yeah, I imagine like you moving like that.
Yeah.
It would be like the vibes would be perfect.
He goes, yeah, but I
Interesting.
mean, like,
Yeah.
how did you finally get out of the dream? See, that's my problem. I'm like trapped. I keep thinking that I'm waking up, but I'm still in a dream. It seems like it's going on forever. I can't get out of it, and I want to wake up for real. How do you really wake up? And then he goes, like, Linklater goes, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not very good at that anymore. But if that's what you're thinking, I mean, you should probably, I mean, you know, if you just can wake up, you should, because you know someday, you know, you won't be able to. So just but it's easy, you know, you just wake up.
It's really it's comical and it's really profound in a way because it's just how it happens. If you ask
You just
those
wake
like
up. Just wake
if
up.
you ask those, yeah, it's just like that. Like you can't have any mechanism for that. You can't. It's just it's as simple as it's like the the archers how they shoot. Like they don't have this idea that they're pulling the arrow and it has to hit somewhere. For them, the target and the arrow is the same thing.
Yeah.
Anything in between you and your goal,
Mm-hmm.
that won't work. Like it's if you ask all this, you know, um, you know, Buddhist monks, meditators, or I
Yeah.
don't know, the Christian monks that kind of transcended, that had that experience,
Yeah.
they will tell you that it just happens. It's not something you do. It's just you resign to it, and it just happens. It's simple, but it's hard to get to that simplicity because of all the conceptions we have, and that's what we have to work on to kind of clear all that pathways so that it just
So you see
it
it
just happens.
as people are an arrow, for example, right? Obviously, we're not, but metaphorically, we are arrows. And it's about clearing being in a path that is clear, would you say? Or
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
to
If
fly?
if the target is waking up, you can say that we have to realize that we are already
They say,
awake.
do not pay any to blinders on. Do not pay any attention to anything that's happening. Just go straight to waking up, like A to B.
Yeah.
Don't pay.
Just
Everything around
just
you
do it.
is not happening. It's just all
Yeah.
noise. And
It's easy to say. It's easy to say, but it's to get to that point where you just click, it just happens like that easily.
yes,
Uh, you have to. You don't have to, but these things need to get out of your way, get out of your
get
perceptions,
out
and
of
you
your
have to
own way. People
do
say,
that.
get out of your own way.
Yeah.
It's because your mind is like throwing
Yeah.
things at you.
But it's happened to me the same way. Like I read something and it just clicked. I
Yeah.
realized that wow, this is this is something serious. This is what I needed from my life. Like this is what I was looking for. This is what was missing. So in that sense, it's just this. Yeah, just wake up. There's nothing you
Mm.
can tell. It's just like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny. Like in the dreams, you also like there's those moments, and you just feel like sometimes someone kills you and you wake up. Sometimes it just ends and you wake up. But sometimes it's like you're just feeling that. Okay, now I wake up. Just simple like that.
Yeah.
So it's also kind of interesting that it's in the movie and how he flies into the heavens after that. That's also beautiful
Yeah.
at the very end. It's on the cover of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Absolutely.
poster.
And that's him waking up because it's a dream, right?
Yeah, but he is trying to cling to the car doorknob,
Yeah. He like
and
doesn't.
it slips and it slips from his hand and he drifts. It's like it's you can say like it's the things that keep us in this illusion, and if we're trying to cling to it, but as soon as we don't,
Yes.
it automatically lifts us up to those whatever it is, the heavens, the now, and the things like that. It's really it's a nice concept, really. That movie is it's very simple and kind of goofy, but it goes quite deep in a sense. But it kind
It's
of lets
wonderful.
you
Yeah.
you do the work instead of it. It just gives this all this good
Yes.
sandboxy items that you can play with.
Thank you so much for
Thank you.
doing this again. Yeah, and it was really great
I
conversation.
think this take was more concise.
Yeah. And
It's better.
how's Nala doing? She okay? She's taking a nap?
Yeah, she's sleeping on the floor at the moment.
That's a
She
good
got off
sign.
me finally.
She's
Yeah,
comfortable.
but
Okay.
she made her debut as well
Good. And
on podcast. So
she'll
I think
star the
she
next
will
one.
she will be the selling point of this. Everyone
She's the
loves cats.
selling
Like
point.
when I put when I put some interesting links or statuses on my
I need her
Facebook, no
face.
one cares about them.
Yes. Oh my God. I know, right? And then you put
And
your dog.
when I post my cat, and then she gets 20 likes. So this is gonna be the selling point.
I get you're so right. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Is it okay? Do I get the rights to use Nala's as you're
Yeah,
her
but do
guardian?
try to use the
To
filter.
sign a
the
contract?
filter
I'll write
if
up a
you can.
contract. Please sign this contract. I'm not even kidding, dude. And also,
Cat track.
is
Cat
it
track.
cat track? This cat track for Nala. I will not take it a minute. I swear. Oh, and then her face is like
Yeah,
all over my
don't
Instagram.
cut her off.
Here's a question. You know how you
I
sent
will
me?
talk to her.
You talk to her, please, because I know that's a real thing where telepathic communication is a thing. I wanted to ask you about Zephyr Dreams. Is it okay if I just play like a few seconds of the beginning of it in the beginning of this episode?
Oh, sure. It's also about dreams, right? Yeah,
That's why.
totally.
And I was like, okay, this music. It's also about music. This show's about music, and you're
It's a bit too melancholic for this talk. For this chill talk, it's a bit depressive when I think of it, but it's okay.
I hope
can
that there
put
was
some
like
bits on
light
it or
and dark, and it's like about the balance, right? Yeah, it's real.
You can do whatever. It's you're the host. Up to you.
There's no like copyright that I have to worry about, you think?
No.
All right, well, thank you
It's
so
my
much.
friend's album, but he won't mind, I'm sure.
It's only going to be like 10 seconds, 10 to 15, because
Yeah.
you play in it. Which instruments do you play?
Yeah.
Like the guitar, right?
No, there's all the instruments except for the second solo. It's like my friend. It is a collab album, and the second solo is him, but the bass, the backing guitar, and the first solo, the rest is mine. So
It's amazing. It's really good. It's well produced, well recorded.
It was at the studio, but there are some minor glitches, but whatever.
I don't see it, so don't tell me where. I think it's perfect.
I won't.
Yeah. Don't ruin the illusion. Okay, thank you so much again. And we'll talk again. Thanks for tuning in to Moon Apothecary Radio. That was Armand from Armenia. And we will have him again for a future episode where we talk about Mir, and we may reenact some scenes. That's the thought. I hope you enjoyed listening to our conversation about waking life. I guess just wake up. Wake up.